As we come up towards the end of the 2022 college football season, the talks about who should be the Heisman Trophy winner from this season will get louder and louder, and we will soon know who the best player in college football really is. Should Max Duggan be in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy, for how he's led this TCU team into the top four to this point? Well, I'm going to give you my opinion, and I'm going to have numbers to back up my opinion. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and let's talk about it. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Coos, and welcome into another edition of Coos' Corner. So pull that chair up and let me serve you up yet another shot of top-shelf college football content. If that kind of content is for you, please hit the red subscribe button. Please give me the thumbs up button on this video. Please share it out with your college sports-loving friends. And last but not least, please drop a comment below and let me know what you think about Max Duggan and his chances to win the Heisman Trophy. Now, let's dig into the video. And with the TCU Horned Frogs being ranked number 4th in the nation right now, their quarterback, Max Duggan, is starting to get a little bit of attention. And there are some in the media out there who are saying that he deserves to be in this conversation. So I got to thinking, as a fan of a Big 12 team in West Virginia, who's really rooting for TCU to get in this college football playoff, and really, really love the story of Max Duggan, and I encourage all of you to go back and look at it. The guy lost his starting job going into this season, but back before that, a few years ago, the kid didn't even know if he was ever going to play football again. Or the young man, I should say, did not even know if he was ever going to play football again because of a heart condition that he had to have surgery for. And here he is today leading what is now the number 4 team in the country and starting to get his name mentioned in the Heisman Trophy conversation. But I wanted to step back and say, okay, what do the numbers actually tell us? Take away the bias, take away the blinders, the Big 12 blinders. What do the numbers say? And we're going to take a look at that right now. All right, let's look at the numbers. I've got the 4 top quarterbacks in the country right now who have all been in the Heisman Trophy conversation. That's C.J. Stroud from Ohio State, Caleb Williams from USC, Drake Maye from North Carolina, and Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. I've got their numbers up on the screen along with Max Duggan's numbers. And I've also included the numbers of Blake Corum, the running back from Michigan, who's now starting to get some Heisman hype as well. So let's look at these numbers, break it down, and I'll let you decide, should Max Duggan be in the conversation? I'm going to give you my opinion, and then I'll give you my opinion as of today, November the 23rd, 2022, who is the best college football player in the country and who should win the Heisman Trophy were they to vote today. When you look at the first group of 4, Stroud, Williams, Maye, and Hooker, I've got yards, touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, and then QBR. If it's highlighted in yellow, it means that individual player, or that quarterback in this case, leads the other 3 guys in this category, okay? Just so you can kind of get a comparison on who leads in the most categories. Now, you've got C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. We all know they're sitting at 11-0 right now, getting ready to go into their big annual showdown with Michigan. You've got the number 2 versus number 3 team in the country. The winner will go to the Big 12 title game and will more than likely end up playing in the college football playoff. The loser may be left out of the college football playoff altogether. So this game has a lot riding on it. Both teams undefeated. Both teams have guys in the Heisman race. Both teams looking for a CFP spot. And obviously a Big Ten championship as well. So C.J. Stroud, 2,991 passing yards on the year, 35 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a 66.4% completion percentage, and 89.7 QBR. As you can see, Stroud leads the other 3 quarterbacks in both touchdowns and QBR. Next, Caleb Williams, the quarterback at USC. USC is now sitting 10-1 on the year. Their only loss coming to a number 20 ranked Utah team, and it was at Utah. You've got Caleb Williams, 3,480 yards, 33 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a 64.9% completion percentage, 85.3 QBR. Next, you have Drake Maye, University of North Carolina. They sit 9-2 on the year, are now leading the ACC Coastal Division, and have earned a spot in the ACC Championship game against the Clemson Tigers. But before they get to that game, they have to play their rival, the North Carolina State Wolfpack, this coming Saturday. But Drake Maye, 3,614 yards, leads the other 3 in this category, 34 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 68.8% completion percentage, 86.2 QBR. So very good numbers for Drake Maye. Next, you've got Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. Tennessee also sitting 9-2 on the year. Unfortunately, Hooker went down with that season-ending injury against South Carolina this past Saturday. I wish nothing but the best for this young man. Hope he has a quick recovery. Would hate to see this derail his NFL career. But you've got Hendon Hooker, 3,135 yards, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks, a 69.6% completion percentage, 89.6 QBR, which is only 1/10 of a point behind Stroud in that category, and he leads all the other three quarterbacks in completion percentage. Now, when you compare those numbers to Max Duggan, 2,858 yards. That would be fifth on this list. Touchdowns, he has 26, which would be fifth on this list, only one behind Hooker, though. Interceptions, only 3 interceptions, which would actually be second on the list, tied with Caleb Williams. Completion percentage, 66.2, which will be last on the list, slightly behind C.J. Stroud. And then QBR, 78.6, which is well behind the other four quarterbacks. Now, Max Duggan has done a lot of damage with his feet this year as well. So that goes a long way in his performance. It's not just his passing ability, but his ability to make plays with his feet. That has went a long way in helping TCU to get where they are. But when you look at the overall passing numbers here, Max Duggan, yes, those are good numbers. I'm not bashing Max Duggan at all, but when you look at the numbers, they don't stack up to these other four quarterbacks. And then when you look at the numbers for Blake Corum real quick, the running back from Michigan, 1,457 rushing yards on 245 attempts, which is 5.9 yards per carry, and 18 touchdowns. So Blake Corum, really the leader of that Michigan offense and probably even that Michigan team, you could argue. And in my opinion, is definitely the most valuable player on that Michigan team and does deserve to be at least in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy. Now, let me give you my opinion. Yes, I told you Max Duggan's numbers did not add up. But does that mean he should be excluded from the Heisman conversation? Because we all know one of the most important things about being in the Heisman conversation, your team wins most of their games, if not all their games. TCU's doing that. So do I think Max Duggan, because of the story, because of the surprise story this year that TCU has become, because of him overcoming adversity, because of him winning the starting job, or keeping the starting job, I should say, when the starter went down after not earning it in the beginning of the season, do I think Max Duggan deserves to be in New York as part of the Heisman Trophy ceremony? I do not. I'm sorry, TCU fans, Big 12 fans. I do not think Max Duggan has the numbers, the stats to stack up with these other quarterbacks. Let me give you an example. My favorite to win the Heisman and who I think should win it if they were to vote today would be C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. Now, that pains me to say because I cannot stand Ohio State. I've never liked Ohio State, but I have to give credit where credit is due here. C.J. Stroud is first in the country in 2 different categories in passing efficiency and passing touchdowns. First in the country. He's third in the country in yards per completion. He's top 20 in yards and top 20 in yards per game. So C.J. Stroud is by far one of the top, if not the top quarterback in college football. His team's 11-0, and if he goes on and has a good performance against Michigan, and then another good performance in the Big Ten title game, and gets his team into the CFP, then I'm of the opinion that C.J. Stroud should be crowned the Heisman Trophy winner for the 2022 season, okay? Now, compare that with Max Duggan. Max Duggan does not lead the country in any categories. The highest he is in any category is 5th, and that's in passing efficiency, which is really good. He's 7th in the country in yards per completion, but he's only 13th in touchdowns and 22nd in yards, total yards. So Max Duggan, in my opinion, does not have the numbers to stack up with these other quarterbacks. Is that taking anything away from Duggan? Absolutely not. Does that mean he's not a good quarterback? Absolutely not. Does that mean he doesn't deserve kudos for how good he's played? Absolutely not. But you also have to look at the fact that Max Duggan has Kendre Miller behind him, who's probably a top 10, if not top 5 running back in the country. He's also got Quentin Johnston on the outside who he can throw balls to. Now, these other guys, C.J. Stroud's got some good help around him as well. He's got talent around him as well, but just when you stack the numbers up between these two players, C.J. Stroud's numbers are just head and shoulders above Max Duggan. And then the other 3 quarterbacks I mentioned as well, their numbers also are way ahead of Duggan. And they are also top 5 in multiple categories in the country in passing. So let me know, Couz's Corner family, in the comment section. Do you think Max Duggan deserves to be a finalist for the Heisman Trophy as of right now? And also, let me know, who do you think should win the Heisman Trophy for the 2022 season if the voting happened today, November the 23rd? Would it be C.J. Stroud? Would you pick Caleb Williams? Would you pick Drake Maye? Would you pick Hendon Hooker? Or would you pick Blake Corum, the running back from Michigan, who I personally don't think has earned it yet? But I do think he has a shot to do it with these next 2 big games coming up against Ohio State and then the Big Ten title game. But I want to hear your thoughts. Also, don't forget to check out my merch store. If you're watching this video and it happens to be Black Friday, November the 25th, 2022, today is the only day, the biggest day of the year, the biggest sales day of the year. 35% off any item in my merch store. Do not miss this opportunity. If you know somebody in your family that loves this channel and you want to get them something from my merch store, or heck, if you just want to buy yourself something, click one of the photos below this video. You can see some photos there of some of my different merch items. You click on one of those photos, it will take you directly to my merch store. You can click on the item you want. There's hoodies, backpacks, t-shirts, tank tops, ball caps, or beanies, mouse pads, iPhone cases, all a lot of different items there to choose from. So pick out your favorite one right now. I've got my channel logo. I've got the JD logo. I've got the West Virginia versus the World logo. I've got other Couz's Corner type logos. Get your favorite one right now, your favorite item right now, and take advantage of this 35% off sale on Black Friday only. If you don't want to wait till Black Friday, you want to go ahead and get your item now, go ahead and do that. But if you want to take advantage of the sale, Black Friday, take 35% off. It's a one-day only sale, the biggest sale of the year in my merch store. If you don't want to support me financially, support me for free in 4 different ways. You can hit the like button. You can share this with your friends. You can drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Heisman race. And last but not least, please hit that subscribe button. Help me get to that 5,000 subscriber mark by the end of this calendar year. With that being said, I really appreciate you tuning into this episode of Couz's Corner. And until the next one, Q Country Roads.